Victoria, a great region to live. These are everyday people living in their own places across 3 different worlds. The country, with its serenity and isolation, outer suburbia that has the best of both worlds, and the inner city that excites those who live there.
Dairy farming can be a really good lifestyle. What drew me to it was meeting Kane and getting married. So I turned into a farmer's wife pretty quickly, a dairy farmer's wife. And that's why now I wear a beanie instead of a big cowboy hat, and I wear gumboots instead of cowgirl boots.
Good environment to raise a family. Kids learn very quickly to grow up, learn facts of life, learn how to work, learn how to have downtime and enjoy their passion, and they realise if they chase something they can achieve it.
I adapted to it at the age of 21 and have had no problems adapting to it. I have really enjoyed the life.
The farming industry is more stabilised to what it's always been. It's not what it always was, but it's closer to what I was born into than any other part of society in Australia. Now, that probably doesn't suit everyone.
But getting older,
but it sure suits me.
Getting older, you tend to like what you used to do and continue doing it.
Get more set in your ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
When the music plays, I don't go back to the days when love was you.
I grew up on an isolated cattle station, and my childhood was quite lonely at times, but I feel like I used a lot of imagination and creativity. So it was a really good childhood. After finishing school, I moved into inner city Melbourne, which I loved. I loved all the culture and the variety that you get in town, and the nightlife. We had heaps of fun. We partied hard. It was great. After getting married and starting a family, we decided to move, take the sea change and move down to Mornington Peninsula. It was a great decision for us. It moves at a much more relaxed pace, and there's more space, and most of all, really strong sense of community, which I think is something I really craved from my childhood. On the other side of it, we also get plenty of access to all the facilities that you need: shopping, medical, job opportunities. You can commute to the city, so really, we've really got the best of both worlds, I feel like.
The Mornington Peninsula has its ups and downs, but I reckon I like the beaches because they're really nice and there's more of them.
Definitely, like in summer, it's such a key point to have.
Yeah.
You're always close to the beach and can easily get there.
Yeah.
Opportunities down here as well, like going when you're at school, like sports and stuff. I think it's quite different.
Yeah, and there's more stuff like you can do down here that you can't do up in the city, like the enchanted maze and stuff. Well, the city, the more opportunities for work and schools, and then more variety of places to go out and stuff.
Yeah, like a social life. But country, if you're growing up, there's not a lot that you can do when you're our age.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely would be better to be in the city than the country.
And in the city, there's also more public transport as well, which
to get
is
around
much better.
Yeah.
It's become an incredibly busy place, and because it's in a city, there's a big push for medium density, high density living. So there's apartment blocks going up everywhere, but the government hasn't allowed for impact on the infrastructure and on transport. So we're living now in a suburb where it's hard to get around the transports. The traffic is really congested. There's a lot of people going down High Street to go out for dinner now. It's almost impossible to park. So even though it's only really close by, it's become quite an inaccessible suburb in a lot of ways. I'd always resisted going back to the country. I thought that, no, I'm a city girl now. But the older I get, the more I miss it.
Oh, I would definitely any day move back to the farm. Like here, it's so packed and like it's hard to get around. Whereas in the country, like you can just go anywhere and it'll be perfectly fine.
I've noticed, it's just becoming more congested in the inner city, and moving around is difficult, and it's expensive too. Melbourne's a very expensive city now, so I guess they're the two things I would say. Yeah, when you say nightlife, I think of music because that's what I enjoy doing in terms of nightlife. So I think Melbourne's very unique that we didn't have pokies years and years ago, like Sydney. So the pubs in Melbourne were, almost forced to put music on to bring crowds in. So there's a really long tradition of music in Melbourne, and it's created a really unique culture that goes with that. So music's really well regarded in this city. It's up there with sport, in my opinion, that people really love music. So, whereas you don't find that in many other cities in the world. So.
Different people for different worlds. There are so many places in Victoria that offer so much. All these worlds have a special something for the people that live there.
Things we take for granted, someone wishes they had. Just when something goes bad, we realize how lucky we are. Fresh air and go outside.